Puzzle Quest became a breakout hit for good reason. It successfully combined the addictive gameplay of gem-matching puzzle games with the equally addictive loot collecting and level gaining of RPGs. Due to the success of the original, Puzzle Quest 2 clearly enjoys a bigger budget, new ideas, and refinements that make it an objectively better game. If you step into this world, expect your free time to be in mortal danger.
Deep beneath the ice that chokes these long-forgotten towers, does a great evil stir once more?
Along with its isometric visual style and dark fantasy art direction, Puzzle Quest 2 borrows its core story concept from classic dungeon crawlers. There's an ominous hole at the outskirts of town with an ancient evil resting at the bottom. There's some light characterization thrown in, and you'll steadily find out more about the corruption bubbling up to the surface from the characters and events you encounter. It's lighthearted fantasy fluff, but it competently sets up enemies and obstacles and establishes a setting just substantial enough to lend some narrative weight to your adventure. This overarching quest for puzzle glory encompasses several types of gameplay that can each be sampled on their own. You can jump into a quick battle with any monster from the game, square off against a human opponent for a puzzle duel, or play mini-games at will. Each of the 4 character types are customizable and give you a slightly different experience, and the amount of time you'll be able to squeeze out of the solo game is substantial. It's comparable to the dozens of hours you might pour into other RPGs, and strangely enough, provides a very similar feeling of accomplishment. The quests for each version of the game are identical, but if you're playing on Xbox 360, you'll find meaningful multiplayer additions with online play and tournament mode, which pits teams of 4 monsters against each other in elimination battles. The DS has its own design advantages. Touchscreen controls make it easy to match gems and activate abilities, and because the game is extremely well suited to enjoyment in short bursts, it's perfectly suited to playing on the go. Whether you're picking locks, busting down doors, or battling orcs and zombies, your success will depend on your ability to match 3 or more gems in a vertical or horizontal row. Matches of 4 or more will net you an extra turn, and if you're skillful or lucky enough, you'll be able to cause chains of crashing gems that yield big multipliers. It can seem annoying and cheap when your opponent is on a roll, but taking an epic turn of your own will give you a vengeful thrill, even against a computer opponent. Varying tasks put different twists on the gameplay, and most of the puzzle variants are fairly entertaining and a nice break from the battles that make up the bulk of the game. The mechanics are simple, but there's more depth to puzzle battles than you might expect. Matching gems produces the corresponding color of magical energy, which powers the spells and abilities that determine the outcome of a battle. Your character learns different abilities as you gain levels. Some affect the board by replacing or removing gems, while others do direct damage to your opponent. You can also match skulls to chip away at your enemy's hit points, or match gauntlets to produce action points that let you use weapons, one of the biggest additions to the game, and a guaranteed way to deal damage. Each class will learn nearly 20 abilities, with additional skills added after solving puzzles or recruiting companions, but you can only take 5 into battle at once. Coupled with a loot system where items can be upgraded to provide different effects, there's a lot of room for customization, and with no real penalty for losing a match, you're free to experiment as you go.
Ooh, let's play!
There's a clear path to follow through the game, but you do have the freedom to navigate each floor of the dungeon and pursue any side quests you've picked up along the way. Certain fights are unavoidable, but you can often choose whether or not to engage in combat. If you do go looking for a fight, chances are you'll end up with some loot for your troubles. It still doesn't have a lot of flash or sheer graphical power, but Puzzle Quest 2 does have a smooth and appealing presentation. The game's shift in art style may initially irk some fans, but the broad array of fantasy creatures, environments, and medieval music successfully conveys the RPG tones. It's somewhat disappointing that the game employs only minimal animation, and navigating menus can be a bit clunky, but the presentation is more than adequate and an improvement on the first game. Puzzle Quest 2 is a worthy sequel in every measure. It improves the look and feel of the original, successfully builds on its mechanics, and still feels different enough to provide a sense of novelty and newness. If you're looking for a satisfying way to pass the time, this quest is most certainly worth checking out.